I see. Oh, yes. Yes, quite agree. I say, old boy, were you aware that the FTSE is up to 15.2? Shitty AM. I get loads of these, and I'll show you the best thing to do with them. Don't read them. Do this. Stick them on your plot. I've just been getting some more onions in. I've got my garlic in that side already. They've been there a few weeks. And normally, under better circumstances, I would have had those in the ground last September-ish. Let them overwinter. They'll be alright, you can plant them at this time of year. I was just lucky enough to get them sprouted in little pots just before we had a couple of the last frosts. And I deliberately stuck them outside to catch those frosts. They'd been started off in the conservatory. I stuck them out in the frost because if garlic don't get a frost, and this has happened to me before, instead of getting a bulb with lots of little separate cloves, you get one big fat round piece of garlic, more like an onion, but it's garlic, not onion. It's just one big fat round bulb of garlic. And what we're after is those little cloves. So I got these in there, sprouted in their pots just in time. We had a bit of frost and I deliberately stuck them out overnight for a few days. So hopefully we'll get the nice little cloves. Piss off plane. That's it, son, trot along. I do promise I'm not going to do too many allotment videos. They don't get many views. I know there's only a few of you who watch them. But at this time of year, it's what I'm doing. I'm busy doing this and it's important and I have to. So don't worry, I'll be back out walking soon. We'll go and see some interesting places. But for now, it's all about getting me season started. The best thing you can do with newspapers, don't read them. You can either burn them or you can do this. This bed here has actually got quite a lot of bindweed twisting around under there. Here we go, look. This is what I'm pulling out of the straw. It can twist around under that straw forever without ever emerging. As long as it doesn't emerge, it's not actually that much of a problem. But in order to stop it emerging, as I'm putting my onions in here, you see, I'm using my newspapers to fill in all the gaps between them, and I'm putting a nice healthy layer of wood shavings on top. I find that generally does the trick. It's not perfect, you still get a few bits of bindweed coming through, but when they do, they're so damn obvious because they're against this nice yellow background, you can see them straight away and you pull them out. And you get this nice long satisfying, can you imagine, you start at this end poking out, you start pulling and you get this nice long satisfying bit come out. So that's my main task for today. We'll see how it goes. I've got tomorrow as well. Definitely want all of my onions in today. They probably won't all fit in this bed, look. I had 3 trays. I've emptied that one already. That's 1 tray. I've got 2 more. I can get 1 more in there. And then that one, these are both white onions. That one's a red onion. I'm not going to have room for that in this bed. I can probably squeeze a little row along here, next to the garlic. We'll see what happens. And if I get time as well, I've still got potatoes to put out. Those ones are done. Those ones are done. But I've still got potatoes to put out up that end. We'll see how it goes. Don't think I don't know where you live. I know your parents. Ah, peace again. I don't mind the mower. Can you hear the mower? I really don't mind the mower. It's the planes that get on my wick. I'm very pleased to see that this chicken poultry manure, I buy it by a big sack from the allotment society shop. Well, I think everything's pretty much cost price, it's cheap as anything. There we go, it says here, sourced entirely from non-battery farms. Now I've always known that these chicken manure pellets are a byproduct of the of that horrible cruel chicken industry. But it's a byproduct, it's going spare anyway, so I've always bought it, it's going to go somewhere. Really pleased to see that this one has come from non-battery farms. I like that. Not that I need very much of it anyway. These beds, they're just so fertile these days. I've added so much muck over the years. They're in really good nick now. So I've just given a little light sprinkling of poultry pellets under there before I put the newspaper down. And also, just a light dusting of blood, fish and bone. It doesn't take much these days. I will be speaking to your headmaster on Monday, young man. Taking a quick break from onions. It's all very wet and easy. I just noticed that my cobnut, my hazel tree, has actually got catkins this year. It's taken a very long time. It's much older than you'd think, this tree. It's actually got catkins for the first time this year. Now this hazel tree, it's the last remaining survivor that's still in there are other plants still hopefully living elsewhere, but they're not under my care, they're not on my land, you know, they're not in my garden or my allotment sort of thing. Hopefully a few of them are still going, but this is the only one I know which is the sole survivor from my old community garden that I used to run down in East London in Leytonstone. Let me show you. I love it. It's got catkins for the first time. This little fella here, you see, that's self-seeded. I had a really rather large cobnut, not a cultivated hazelnut, but a wild form cobnut. It is a hazelnut, but it's its wild form. This one's self-seeded from a much larger tree, and I bought it here by accident. When I moved, I spent, 12 years or so in London, where I had a community garden. It destroyed, unfortunately, all gone now, built on, bulldozed and built on. But this little escapee, I can't remember what it was in, but I bought a plant in a pot from my garden. I saved all the plants that I could before they bulldozed it. And this was an unexpected bonus. I'm not sure what the plant was, but once I'd actually put that one out in the ground in my new house when I moved back home to Dunstable, this little fella popped through. And I thought, well, that's a nice surprise. And actually these days, it's my last plant that I've still got from that garden. So I planted it up here on the allotment, along the hedgerow here. There's a gap in the hedgerow, and I like to keep the hedgerow nice and thick, just as extra wind protection to keep the wind off my allotment, because the wind always comes from that direction over there. Always. Well, 95% of the time. So this little gap here that I'm standing in, where I like to park, but you know, it still lets the wind through, I've been filling it up with bits and pieces. And this little fella, I'm really hoping we might actually see some nuts on it this year. I ate plenty of nuts from its parent. Its parent tree just gave me hazelnuts and hazelnuts and hazelnuts. Maybe we'll see some here soon, this year. Oh, here's the sun. And I just got myself a couple of helpers.
I got a spider, I don't like spiders.
They've got a big...
I've got a new hat! Can you get rid of this spider?
Any spiders, just shake them off. Just shake them off, they'll be alright.
It's over there.
I've got two helpers. They've got a little knife each, and I've got a big pile of cardboard all covered in tape. So, Annie. Annie, how many hours work have you got to give me for £10? I'm asking you a question, young lady. Molly knows. Molly, how many hours work have you got? 2 hours, yes.
Like this. I cut the tape off.
Yep, cut all the tape off. You can peel it off, or you can cut it off. It's up to you. Just try not to hurt yourself. Right, let's get on with it. We've got work to do, haven't we? Oh, Annie, put your butt away.
Can you bring me some cardboard?
You want me to bring you the cardboard?
Yeah,
That's not really how work goes, Molly. I'm paying you £10 for 2 hours.
But there's a spider.
Well, that's okay. You can shake it off.
I don't like spiders.
You're not scared of spiders, are you, Annie? I'll bet she is. All right.
There was a huge tarantula in our
Annie, go on. Give us Joker face. Give us Joker face.
Yo, man. It's really sticky.
Say it again.
This bit's are peeled off. It's just really sticky.
It's really sticky.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can peel it all off, can't you? Is that your idea of work, Annie? Laying down looking at it?
Yeah.
You can get that off.
I'm sunbathing, go away.
You're meant to be working.
Looks like Annie won't be getting paid.
Yeah, it looks like
money.
Molly's going to get 20 quid then. She can have Annie's money.
Well done, me.
You stabbed a spider? Was it running away when you stabbed it?
No.
Did you get it in the head?
Yeah.
Where's it gone? Is it dead? Why did you stab it?
It was going near me.
Is that... Oh, okay. Fair enough. Look, you've left a knife sticking out the cardboard.
So?
That's not very safe, is it?
I put it there.
Well, yeah, but you don't want to tread on it.
I'm not going to step on it.
Fold it up safely. Well, we're not even at the allotment anymore, so I don't know quite what happened to that day. I've lost one niece, I've gained the friend of my other niece, and now they've got me sitting in a park drinking a can of Jack Daniels.
She said yes. She said yes. After 32 messages of saying please.
Good, that's a message. That's a message I'm pleased to hear about, because it means I can dump these two here at the park and go home and get on with my day.
Well,
That wasn't even an allotment video in the end, was
At
it?
least you get to sit on a swing.
Yeah, I got to sit on a swing. I'll see you at home, where I'm going to be repotting some cabbages. See you in a bit. Well, I said cabbages, didn't I? I said I was going to show you potting on some cabbages. I'm not going to show you potting on cabbages. It's just me taking them out of here and putting them into things like this. You don't need to see that, do you? I started off apologising for showing you another allotment video, and this hasn't even really ended up being an allotment video. It's just ended up being quite an enjoyable day for me. I don't know how enjoyable that was for you. One more thing to just quickly show you. Look, hang on, here we go. Sweet corn are coming through. I've got some Swift and some Incredible. They're just starting to poke their heads out. There we go. I don't do sweet corn in cells. I prefer to put them in pots, because although they do get planted out fairly quickly, they do need a bit of root space. So they're on their way. Pleased to see that. There is going to be another allotment video or two, probably a bit more productive than that one was, before I get out walking again. So we might get out walking in 2 weeks, possibly, I'd guess. Right, I'll see you soon.